They say in space, no one can hear you scream. But they never mention anything about the thunderous roar of diesel engines, the maniacal laughter of caffeine-ailed drivers, or the sound of alien commanders having collective aneurysms as they watch their carefully planned defenses get demolished by what can only be described as a convoy of chaos. Welcome to the untold story of humanity's most terrifying military branch, the Transportation Corps. Now, before you dismiss this as just another tale of human warfare, let me paint you a picture that will haunt the dreams of every alien tactical officer from here to the Andromeda Galaxy. Imagine, if you will, a military force so unpredictable that their own commanders need therapy. A group so resourceful they once stole an entire alien command center, not the equipment inside the actual building, and their superiors were too impressed to even court-martial them. The year was 2157, and humanity had just joined the Galactic community. While other species showcased their gravity-defying vehicles and matter teleportation technology, humans rolled up to the Galactic Defense Summit in what the aliens described as primitive combustion-paired death boxes on wheels. Little did they know, these weren't just any vehicles. These were the chariots of chaos, driven by the most unhinged individuals humanity had ever proudly put into uniform. The first documented encounter between the Transportation Corps and alien forces occurred during the Battle of Proxima Centauri. The 7th Logistics Battalion, led by the notorious Captain Sarah Mad Dog Martinez, was tasked with delivering critical supplies to a besieged human outpost. The alien commanders, in their infinite wisdom, had established what they believed to be an impenetrable blockade. "Impenetrable, my caffeinated behind," Martinez was recorded saying over the comm channel. What followed would be forever known as the Proxima Drift Incident, where a convoy of 12 heavy transport vehicles performed maneuvers that violated not just military doctrine, but several laws of physics. The alien after-action report, later recovered from their database, read, "Human ground vehicles approached at unsafe velocities. When ordered to halt, they increased speed. When fired upon, they started playing what they called Tokyo Drift through external speakers. The lead vehicle initiated what can only be described as a multi-ton ballet with a fully loaded cargo trailer. 3 defense positions were destroyed, not by weapons, but by what the humans called sick drift action. Recommend immediate revision of combat doctrine." But the real legend of the Transportation Corps wasn't built on their driving alone. These were the masters of acquisition, the sultans of scrounging, the emperors of "it fell off the back of a truck." They operated on a simple principle: everything is borrowable, and possession is 9/10 of intergalactic law. Take Private First Class Jimmy Sticky Fingers Thompson, who once requisitioned an entire alien recreational facility by convincing them he had the authority to do so. How? He showed up with a clipboard, a confident attitude, and a forged document written in crayon. The facility was dismantled, transported, and reassembled on a human base before anyone thought to verify his credentials. The Corps developed their own unique language, a mix of military jargon and what can only be described as sleep-deprived poetry. Terms like tactical borrowing, aggressive requisitioning, and surprise logistics inspection became part of their daily vocabulary. Their mission reports read like fever dreams written by an energy drink-addicted novelist. If you've enjoyed this story so far, make sure to smash that like button harder than a Transportation Corps truck hitting an alien barricade. Don't forget to subscribe and ring that notification bell. You definitely don't want to miss out on new stories just like this one. The legend of the Transportation Corps grew exponentially after the Proxima Drift incident. Alien intelligence agencies began compiling what they called the Terran Ground Transport Threat Assessment, a document that would eventually become longer than their entire military manual. The most fascinating part? Every time they thought they had humanity's logistics personnel figured out, the Corps would invent an entirely new form of chaos. Take the Great Coffee Caper of 2158. When supplies of caffeine ran dangerously low across 3 human sectors, the Corps didn't just solve the problem, they revolutionized interstellar trade. Led by Sergeant Maria Bean Queen Rodriguez, a convoy of modified heavy transporters managed to cross 6 alien-controlled systems, establish a black market coffee trade route, and somehow return, with not just coffee, but an entire alien coffee plantation. The plant's soil and processing facility had been tactically relocated during what Rodriguez officially reported as a routine supply optimization exercise. The alien agricultural minister's report simply stated, "They took everything. The beans, the workers, the building. They even left a thank you note and a gift basket. The gift basket was filled with items stolen from my own office." But perhaps the most infamous operation was the Midnight Requisition Marathon during the siege of Europa Base. When conventional supply lines were cut off by Caraxian forces, the Transportation Corps decided that the normal rules of engagement weren't just guidelines, they were suggestions, to be completely ignored. Staff Sergeant Jack Madwell O'Malley led what would become known as the Convoy of Questionable Decisions. With 37 vehicles, including several that had been borrowed from the enemy, they executed what O'Malley called a tactical distraction through aggressive stupidity. The convoy split into 3 groups. The first group, dubbed Team Chaos, drove straight through the main Kralaxian battle line while blasting Earth's classical music, specifically Yakety sax on loop. The second group, Team Mayhem, somehow managed to convince an entire Kralaxian patrol that they were actually a new type of performance art installation. The third group, led by O'Malley himself, used the confusion to sneak through with the actual supplies. The Kralaxian commander's personal log entry that day read, "The humans have weaponized confusion itself. How do you maintain battlefield discipline when the enemy supply convoy challenges you to a dance battle? And why did we accept?" But it wasn't just their unconventional tactics that made the Transportation Corps legendary. Their ability to modify and maintain their vehicles bordered on technological wizardry. Chief Warrant Officer Helen Wrenchwich Chen became famous for turning standard transport trucks into what she called logistics-focused freedom dispensers. Her masterpiece was the MCCC, Mobile Command Center Cafe, a converted heavy transport vehicle that somehow contained a fully functional command center, a 5-star restaurant, and what several alien species described as the best coffee shop in 3 sectors. How she fit all of this into a standard transport vehicle remains classified, but rumors suggest it involved creative use of space-folding technology and what she called aggressive interior decorating. The Corps also developed their own unique training program, which alien observers found both fascinating and terrifying. The Advanced Tactical Acquisition course included such subjects as creative requisition form interpretation, creative coffee procurement protocols, advanced excuse generation, and emergency coffee procurement protocol. The final exam, known as the Midnight Madness Run, required trainees to successfully acquire a list of impossible-to-obtain items without getting caught or technically breaking any regulations. The record holder, Private Lisa Ghost Martinez, managed to obtain an alien ambassador's personal yacht using only a clipboard, a smile, and what she claimed was aggressive paperwork. But perhaps the most remarkable aspect of the Transportation Corps was their ability to turn any situation to their advantage. When the Arcturus Defense Fleet attempted to block their supply routes with a state-of-the-art minefield, the Corps saw it as a free source of spare parts. They developed a technique they called mine shepherds, using their vehicles' reinforced bumpers to carefully herd the mines into alien shipping lanes. The resulting chaos led to the creation of the first interstellar traffic laws specifically targeting human logistics personnel. The Corps framed the document and hung it in their main headquarters, right next to the still-missing leather command chair from the original story. As the war progressed, alien forces began to realize a terrifying truth. The more obstacles they placed in front of the Transportation Corps, the more creative their solutions became. It was like trying to stop a river by building a dam. The water doesn't disappear, it just finds new and interesting ways to make your life difficult. The most perplexing aspect of the Transportation Corps wasn't their ability to acquire impossible items or their death-defying driving skills, it was their uncanny talent for appearing exactly where they shouldn't be, precisely when they were least expected. During the Battle of Centauri Prime, an alien commander famously declared his fortress completely isolated and impenetrable. 3 hours later, he found a Transportation Corps food truck in his private bunker, serving tacos to his own troops. The driver, Corporal Danny Food Ninja Ramirez, had not only penetrated all security measures, but had also established a thriving business and a loyalty rewards program. When questioned about how he got through 17 layers of security, Ramirez simply shrugged and said, "Tuesday is Taco Day. Taco Day waits for no war." The alien commander was so impressed, he became a regular customer until his eventual capture. He still maintained his platinum rewards status. The Corps' reputation for impossible feats reached new heights during Operation Market Gardener. When a human colony needed emergency agricultural supplies, the 23rd Heavy Transport Battalion didn't just deliver farming equipment, they somehow managed to relocate an entire alien hydroponics research facility during what they claimed was a scheduled maintenance inspection. The facility's disappearance was only noticed when the alien research team arrived for work the next day, to find nothing but a handwritten IOU note and a basket of earth vegetables with a ribbon that read, "First Harvest." The security footage had been replaced with a 2-hour loop of potted plants growing in real time. Lieutenant Commander Sarah Greenthumb Patel, the mastermind behind the operation, included only one line in her official report: successful implementation of aggressive gardening protocols. The attached expense report listed miscellaneous soil samples and temporary botanical storage solutions. But perhaps the most legendary tale was the Great Cafeteria Caper of 2159. When budget cuts threatened to reduce the quality of food services across human military installations, the Transportation Corps took matters into their own hands. Led by Master Sergeant Wei Kitchen Commando Chen, they embarked on what they officially termed a nutrition optimization initiative. Over the course of 3 months, alien military bases across 12 sectors reported mysterious disappearances of their top chefs, premium cooking equipment, and entire food storage facilities. Meanwhile, human base cafeterias inexplicably began serving five-star meals prepared by temporary civilian contractors. The operation only came to light when an alien general, after enjoying what he described as the best meal of my life at a captured human base, recognized his personal chef behind the counter. The chef refused to leave, claiming he had found his true calling and better benefits, including something called weekends. The Transportation Corps' influence on alien culture couldn't be understated. Their unique approach to problem-solving began to infect even their adversaries. Reports emerged of alien logistics units attempting to emulate human methods, usually with disastrous and hilarious results. One Kralaxian supply officer, after studying human tactics, attempted his own aggressive acquisition operation. He returned with 3 tons of rubber ducks, a vintage Earth bicycle, and a profound respect for human ingenuity. His subsequent request for transfer to the Department of Creative Logistics was denied, but the rubber ducks became unofficial mascots. If you're enjoying these insane tales of the Transportation Corps, don't forget to absolutely demolish that like button like it's an alien blockade. Hit subscribe faster than a caffeinated Corps driver and smash that notification bell harder than a runaway supply truck. Now strap in and secure your cargo as we continue with even more chaotic chronicles of humanity's most unhinged military branch. The year was 2160. And the Transportation Corps had evolved from a mere logistics unit into what alien intelligence reports classified as weaponized inconvenience, with a side of property redistribution. Their reputation had grown so legendary that some alien species began surrendering at the mere rumor of an approaching convoy. The Corps' finest hour came during the infamous Operation Dinner Bell, when the 15th Marine Division found themselves surrounded on 3 sides by Drachnid forces on the ice planet Celsius 4. Conventional military wisdom suggested they were doomed. The Transportation Corps, however, saw it as an opportunity for what they called extreme customer service. Salud de set. Captain Miguel Ice Road Drifter Hernandez led a convoy of 30 heavily modified transport vehicles across the planet's frozen methane lakes. The official mission plan, scribbled on the back of a takeout menu, simply read, "Going to drift on some aliens, BRB." What followed was described by surviving Drachnid commanders as a ballet of insanity choreographed by caffeinated lunatics. The convoy split into 5 groups, each playing different Earth music at maximum volume. Group 1 blasted classical Wagner while performing what they called a synchronized supply delivery demonstration. Group 2 opted for heavy metal while using their trailers as improvised battering rams. The remaining groups created such chaos that 3 Drachnid psychologists retired after attempting to analyze the footage. But the true masterpiece of Operation Dinner Bell wasn't the driving, it was the catering. Somehow, in the middle of the rescue operation, the Corps managed to set up a full-service barbecue station. By the time the Marines were evacuated, several Drachnid units had defected, citing superior food service benefits as their primary motivation. The Corps' influence on military doctrine became so significant that the Galactic Military Academy created a new course titled Human Logistics: Why Everything We Know is Wrong. The course's first professor, a former alien commander, began each lecture by showing his therapy bills. Their equipment modifications reached new heights of innovation, or insanity, depending on who you asked. The Mobile Morale Enhancement Vehicle, designed by Technical Sergeant Priya Maid Mechanic Patel, appeared to violate several laws of physics. It somehow contained a fully functional arcade, a movie theater, and what was described in the technical specifications as a party room that exists in a quantum superposition of both lit and unlit. When questioned about how she fit all this into a standard transport vehicle, Patel's only response was "very carefully," followed by a knowing wink and a request for more energy drinks. The Corps even developed their own unique combat doctrine, though they insisted on calling it enthusiastic delivery protocols. Their manual, titled The Art of War, but with Trucks, became required reading across human military academies, despite being mostly composed of coffee stains and doodles of trucks jumping over explosions. One particularly notable chapter, Advanced Applications of Momentum-Based Problem-Solving, consisted entirely of the phrase, "If it's stupid but it works, it's not stupid," repeated for 15 pages, followed by a detailed analysis of how to drift a fully loaded transport truck through an anti-tank barrier. The Transportation Corps' influence on interstellar diplomacy created an entirely new field of study in alien diplomatic academies: human logistics psychology, understanding the incomprehensible. The course's primary textbook was just a collection of incident reports and security camera footage that made seasoned diplomats wake up in cold sweats. The infamous noodle incident of 2161 perfectly exemplified why aliens feared human logistics personnel. When a human colony requested emergency food supplies, specifically ramen noodles, the Transportation Corps didn't just deliver, they revolutionized an entire sector's cuisine. Warrant Officer Kenji Noodle King Tanaka led what he termed a culinary procurement expedition. Within a week, 3 alien noodle factories had mysteriously relocated to human space. The paperwork was technically perfect, though it was later discovered to be written in crayon and decorated with small doodles of smiling trucks. The most remarkable part wasn't the theft, it was that the alien factory workers came willingly, citing better working conditions and unlimited coffee breaks. They even helped load their own equipment onto the transport vehicles while singing human work songs they'd learned from the Corps. But perhaps nothing demonstrated the Corps' influence better than the Great Chair Migration. Following the success of the original leather chair acquisition, a trend emerged among Transportation Corps units. They began collecting comfortable seating from across the galaxy, establishing what they called Strategic Comfort Repository. The alien response to this wave of furniture-based theft was to bolt everything down. The Corps saw this as a challenge. Master Sergeant Diego Chairman Velázquez became legendary for his ability to extract bolted-down furniture without leaving a trace, often replacing high-end command chairs with plastic lawn furniture decorated with hand-drawn smiley faces. The psychological impact on alien commanders was severe. Many reported arriving at their posts to find their chairs replaced with increasingly ridiculous substitutes, inflatable pools filled with pillows, modified ejection seats, and in one memorable instance, a perfectly balanced stack of empty energy drink cans. Training for the Transportation Corps evolved to match their expanding reputation. The Advanced Tactical Procurement course now included such essential skills as creative inventory management, extreme customer service, and advanced excuse generation in multiple alien languages. The final exam, known as the Impossible Run, required trainees to deliver supplies through an impassable obstacle course while simultaneously acquiring a list of unobtainable items. The current record holder, Private First Class Lucy Ghost Rider Chen, not only completed the course but somehow returned with the instructor's personal vehicle, while the instructor was still teaching the class. By 2162, alien military strategists had developed a new classification system for human logistics personnel. Class 1, Standard Delivery Drivers, dangerous. Class 2, Creative Requisition Specialists, highly dangerous. Class 3, Transportation Corps Veterans, extreme hazard. Class 4, Coffee-deprived Transportation Corps personnel, planet-wide evacuation recommended. In what would become known as the defining moment of the Transportation Corps' legacy, the Great Caffeine Crisis of 2163 pushed these logistics lunatics to their absolute limits. When the entire human fleet's coffee supply was destroyed in a surprise attack, the Corps declared what they called a Category 5 bean emergency. What followed was the single largest coordinated operation in Corps history, codenamed Operation Wakey Wakey. Every available transport vehicle, from massive cargo haulers to commandeered alien vessels, which they swore they were just borrowing, was mobilized. The mission briefing consisted of just 2 words: get coffee. Colonel Maria Bean Queen Rodriguez, now promoted after her earlier coffee-acquiring exploits, orchestrated what alien historians would later call the Great Coffee Crusade. The operation involved simultaneous raids on every major coffee-producing planet in 3 sectors, complete with what the Corps termed aggressive barista recruitment. The most spectacular element was the conversion of an entire captured alien dreadnought into what they called the SS Espresso. How they managed to install a fully functional coffee roasting facility in the ship's main gun battery remains classified, but survivors swear they could smell fresh roasted coffee from 2 systems away. The alien response to this caffeine-fueled chaos was to establish the Hot Beverage Defense Initiative. This proved catastrophically ineffective when they discovered that the Corps had already infiltrated their supply chain and replaced all their military-grade stimulants with decaf. The resulting confusion led to the first-ever surrender via coffee loyalty card. As this epic saga of the Transportation Corps draws to a close, it's worth noting that their influence forever changed how the galaxy viewed human logistics personnel. Their official motto was eventually changed to improvise, adapt, acquire, though unofficially it remained, if it moves, we can ship it. If it doesn't move, we can make it move. If it really doesn't want to move, that just makes it more interesting. The legendary missing leather command chair? Legend has it that it still travels the galaxy, moved from base to base by a secret network of Transportation Corps veterans. Some say, on quiet nights, you can hear the distant squeak of its wheels and the maniacal laughter of logistics personnel planning their next tactical acquisition. And somewhere in a heavily fortified bunker known only as Transganistan, a group of caffeine-mangered logistics specialists are probably planning their next impossible mission. armed with nothing but determination, a creative interpretation of regulations, and enough energy drinks to power a small star. As for the aliens, they finally added a new section to their military training manual. If you see human logistics personnel, don't bother running. They've already got what they came for, and your chair is probably already gone. If you enjoyed this insane ride through the chaos of humanity's transportation core, hit that like button, subscribe, and turn on notifications for more epic tales from across the galaxy. See you in the next video.